Good morning, Barbara. It's Wednesday, October the 31st, which means it is Halloween. Okay, so, oh god, shut up. Right, so that wasn't as creepy as I intended it to be, but isn't it cool that we have an actual skeleton in our closet? It's kind of like an inside joke in this twisted psychoanalytical family. Welcome to this year's Halloween, in which I will be reading a very creepy story written by some very disturbed senior year students, aka me and my friends. Bang! And Maxwell pulled the trigger. It was so easy. He simply took the gun and did it. The murdering weapon came alive in his hand. He pressed the firing pin against his temple, moved his finger lightly, and the life was over. The simplicity of it was so beautiful. It created in him a blissful feeling which was, paradoxically, too complex to explain. He went to the sink, washed his hands, and admired the precious red rubies dripping from his fingers. His mouth grinned maliciously as he attentively admired the ritual, his eyes unable to look away from the body he was now chopping to pieces. How marvelous! For Maxwell, a body was like a bright canvas pleading for an artist, and Maxwell's hands were indeed the hands of an artist. Instruments, perhaps. No gloves, no. He wanted to feel the soft texture of the skin, the inertia produced as the scalpel sliced the soft skin first, swayed through the fat, and danced across the muscle. Killing was an art. Many could try it, but few could succeed at it. Maxwell was the best in his art, or at least he considered himself to be. He worked on his own, and his victims were mainly men. He was disgusted by the females' fragile bodies. The men proved to demand more dexterity and strength. Despite his experience in the art of killing, that day was different. The desire to kill, to tear, to end a life had not been satisfied even after the pieces of what had been a man were disposed of. His eyes gleamed with a passionate desire to spread blood. He needed those eyes in the mirror to reflect a deep scarlet color once again. He longed to kill. It was vital. Death had to come for him to feel alive. It was as if he fed strictly from feasts of running blood. The knocking at the door startled him. The body was not well disposed of. He had thrown away the pieces of leg and arm carefully, but his head, the trophy, this was sitting in the fridge, waiting for someone to expose it, to uncover its fleeting shelter and exclaim, "Ah, the beauty, the art! We shall place this next to the Dali at the museum." He opened the door and was faced with a policeman who had been called by a neighbor who had heard a gunshot. No search warrant, just a kind request floating from this man's mustache to search his apartment. He muttered a polite yes, faking the puzzlement he assumed an innocent man might have. Everything was perfect, he thought. Nothing could ever destroy the magnificent and various pieces of art he had created. No one could ever deprive the world from the geniality he had brought to it. The policeman had found nothing. He approached the kitchen and continued his search like a bloodhound eager to find his prey. This was it, the end of his work. His career path had come to an end. And as he knew would happen, the death of the art of killing inevitably brought his own death. It didn't take him long to figure out. His masterpiece, his final piece of art, was himself. He smiled with joy as he stabbed himself repeatedly with a knife, and as he hit himself with a hammer, painting a purple color here and there. The policeman had found the head and entered the living room with a gun in his hand, which he immediately dropped as he saw the murderer filled with blood and laughing victoriously in the floor. His chest read Maxwell's silver hammer. He sang the Beatles' timeless song as he savored the taste of blood falling like the most pure and beautiful waterfall. And there it was. His eyes were once again a fountain of a deep scarlet color. His look shined with the lively spark of death. It was by far the most pleasant artwork he had made. Painful, yes, but pleasant nonetheless, and simply beautiful. He felt he was slowly falling asleep, as if he had been injected with a tranquilizer, as death took him to the unknown. Bang, bang, Maxwell's silver hammer made sure that he was dead.
Bang, bang, Maxwell's silver hammer made sure that she was dead.